Hi guys, this is Miss Stevens, and I'm going to show you today how to do the job of teleprompter for Bingham Broadcasting. So first of all, you're going to go to Multimedia Assignments Broadcasting Jobs. You will see here, check these if you are the current week's anchors and teleprompter to look at the announcements you'll be making. So here are the weekly announcements. They are submitted by Google form, and so they are put here. It will usually tell you how long to announce them. Remember, we film several days in advance, so you must pay close attention to the date so that you are not giving outdated information. That's not very helpful to anyone if we're giving outdated information. So that's the announcement link. There is also a teleprompter script. Teleprompter, this is your important piece. Don't worry about the link up here at the moment. We will get to that later. Teleprompter script, obviously 12/25/25 is a bogus date. I just put that there to remind you that you must put the date of the show that you are scripting. Once again, we film several days in advance, and it is very easy to get tangled and mixed up and lose what day you're trying to do if you don't put that date. Now you will have two anchors. I have labeled mine A and B. You, of course, will label them with the initials of the people who are the anchors, or you can put their name either way. That's fine. Initials makes less typing for you if you're the teleprompter, and you're going to be thankful for that. Trust me. The important thing is that we alternate back and forth between speakers. It keeps it from being boring. And then there are a couple of times when we want them to say something together. In between each chunk or each topic, I like to say, of the script, you're going to want to give about 5 lines on the screen, and there will actually be a time of about 4 or 5 seconds where your anchors will just going to be sitting there staring straight ahead or looking pretty. That will be cut out, but that is our space when the editor gets to the video. That is the space where they're going to have time to put those transitions and change those backgrounds. If you don't leave some space there, it just writes on top of each other and it's not smooth and it doesn't look as nice. So make sure between each segment or topic that you leave this space. Another thing I want to point out is that sometimes on an announcement, one person will have more than one line to speak. It just doesn't make sense if it's a 5 or 6 line announcement to chunk it up. Each sentence is the other person. That doesn't sound good. That's choppy. So you'll need to find a place to cut it. But what I want you to see is that when you have more than one line of text for that anchor to read, you need to also make sure you give it a space. And that will become apparent as to why you do that here in a few moments when we get to the actual teleprompter program. Okay, so I have typed in all of my script. Now, this is kind of a template because every day we're going to have birthdays, every day we're going to have lunch. So tomorrow, or for tomorrow's show, whatever the next day's show is, I'm just going to come up here and replace the birthday names and replace the lunch. It saves you some typing. If I have an announcement here that's going to run for a week, I really don't want to have to type it out every day, so I can keep it there, and it saves the teleprompter a lot of typing. So now that I've finished my script, I'm going to go to the easyprompter.com, which is linked right here. This is the teleprompting program. Oops, I forgot something. Before I do that, I'm going to have to copy my script from my Google Doc. So just copy. Come on, little mousey. And I'm going to paste it right there into the teleprompter. All right. So this looks really tiny, but once it gets up on the Mac, and if you look down here, this is preview text. That's the size that it'll be when we actually start the program running. So I'm going to start the prompt, start the teleprompter. Okay, if you're in Anchor, let's see if I can get this play button to hit here. If you're in Anchor, you're going to wait until it has your letter. Okay, and down here is where you change the speed. Usually a 2 or a 3, well, 3 or 4 is what we're going to have. So for instance, right now, Ted Smith and Susie Jones have birthdays today. We might want to stop that and go in and fix that, because even though we gave it a space in our script, if you notice, it didn't really give a space when it came up. So I'm going to go into Edit Script, and right here is where I can add a space, and that's going to give person A a little more time to read, and it's not going to sound so rushed. So let's start this again. Okay, hit play. Okay, so good morning, I am thing 1 and I am thing 2. Both are going to say this. The teleprompter is really funky. You see how it moved itself up to 7. You have to kind of watch that closely and adjust it down. I'm not sure why it chooses to jump up at its own pace, but we've found that 3 or 4 is usually going to be best for our purposes. I do let the anchors run through the script once or twice, well, 2 or 3 times is better, so that any pronunciations that they need to figure out can be figured out, and so we can kind of double check the timing, see where we need to add those spaces. Another thing that I will tell you about being the teleprompter, sometimes there are words that are just really difficult to pronounce. Au gratin potatoes is one of them. The way it's spelled, A-U-G-R-A-T-I-N, who knows how to pronounce that? If you need to spell it phonetically, meaning if I need to put O-G rotten for au gratin potatoes, that's okay. Nobody sees this but the anchors. So you can certainly spell it however you need to spell it, because I will tell you, the anchors will read what it says on the screen. Okay, they don't have time to process and realize if that's something that doesn't make sense. They're just going to read what's on the screen. So you as teleprompter, it's your job to make sure that that information is accurate. Okay, that was a real quick rundown, but that's how you do the teleprompter job.